Since tomorrow I'm going to be talking about how distributed Agile teams are rocking it, I thought today I would focus just a little bit of time on why. What do we get when we get remote working right? Now, there's two sides to the story. One is from the company's perspective, and one is from the employee's perspective. And I'll start with the company's perspective. Most companies hire remote people for cost, or I should say revenue. A software developer in San Francisco costs significantly more than a developer in Vietnam, and that is revenue that companies can't ignore. But more than that, it is really hard to find good people, especially software developers. And so there's a company that I interviewed in Indianapolis, United States, called FormStack. And they were wanting to grow, but they couldn't find enough software developers in Indianapolis to fulfill their needs. And so, actually, a few of the people in the company knew a really good software developer in Poland, coincidentally. And so he became their first remote employee. Shortly after that, the wife of the CEO got her dream job in a city that was not Indianapolis. And so the CEO made the decision that the company was going to go remote, or at least be remote friendly. But I think one of the most compelling reasons for companies for going remote is that whether or not you allow people to work remotely or have flexibility, we should have the processes and systems in place to be able to work from anywhere in case something happens, because something always does happen. There is transportation problems, weather problems, sick children at home, or the plumber that's coming between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. So whether or not work shouldn't have to stop just because something like that happens. And when we're remote first, the company is only stronger for it. Now, I'm going to be bold and say that companies that can or allow for or that can work remotely will outperform companies that can't. Now, let's go to the employee's perspective. So for the employee, what we get when we get remote working right is freedom. Now, I know a lot of managers are saying, oh no, I do not want my employees to become digital nomads and travel the world and try to work from anywhere. But actually, that's probably not the case. Most people don't want to be digital nomads. Most people just want a little flexibility in their schedule. And in fact, most people just want to avoid the commute. In a lot of places, it's more than 1 hour each way to commute, and a bad commute can ruin a really good job. Other people just want a little flexibility. My colleague Vorons wants to train for triathlons, so he just wants a little wiggle room in his schedule. Another friend of mine has to hire somebody to take his daughter to school in the morning because the company that he works for forces him to be there by 8 a.m. and school starts later. So you can imagine the loyalty that he feels for that company. Now, I think more than anything, most of us just want to be able to have the choice to work where we are most productive. Sometimes that's at the office, and sometimes that's not. For example, when I'm doing podcast interviews or giving online workshops, I'd like to work in my home office where I'm alone, and it's quiet, and my internet is rocking fast. But when I'm doing things like invoicing or other things that I don't like to do so much, I really like to be around other people for the motivation. A lot of managers are afraid of letting their people work remote because they think they're going to be lazy or just lay on the couch. But in fact, I found the opposite to be true. Remote workers aren't trying to escape doing work. We're trying to escape the day prison. We want to spend more time doing things that we like and less time stuck in traffic. So I'm not saying that it's easy to go remote, but I am saying that it is possible. And when we get it right, it's absolutely worth it. So I hope that tomorrow you'll join me and I'll tell you how. Thanks.